Hey guys, it's me again, Orc Slayer Waves, where we last left off. Deku and Aizawa not got into a fight, but more or less Aizawa tested Deku's theory, or the AI's theory, on if Aizawa used his quirk on him, Deku would pretty much become immobile. Or just like unconscious, or weakened to the point that it's pointless to move. Then they also, not he, got their armor and weapons early to field test up, you could say. And then they field tested it with Carolina. And Caboose will be the AI, or not AI's, but the FI's personal support course helpers. Yeah. Caboose followed the specifications that were made. Like, it was just like putting together a puzzle. But I'm terrible at puzzles. He's like, then how did you put it together? He's like, I don't know. If you don't know, Caboose is very dumb, very strong, but is very good with mechanical issues and such. He fixes tanks and everything. Sheila? But anyways, what's happening now is that Deku's been called to Nezu's office. There's some questions that they want to ask, because they noticed, well, as they all perceive him as Deku, they saw Deku's increased abilities. And they were looking at his history and seeing that his abilities weren't always like that. They used to be very, very weak to the point of almost being useless. That is how weak he was. And so now this whole thing about his powers being like boosted to crazy amounts, some of them have questioned, is it possible that he's doing trigger or something along those lines? As people, if you don't know, well, you should probably know, is that trigger is a quirk enhancer. And it's a very powerful one from what I know. Since that one guy that Kirishima has to fight uses it on himself, and he becomes very strong. Like, to the point of, like, he goes, not insane, but he goes very crazy. And Kirishima's unbreakable is what it took to stop him. So this is what they're guessing, is that Deku's doing trigger. Though they don't understand his mental stability. How stable he is. For, like I said, it drives him a bit crazy. Not insane, but crazy. So as Nezu's wanting to request Deku in his office to learn if this is true, or how did he just like level up his quirk so fast? Sorry, I had to yawn. So as he walks up there, there's a few teachers. There's Recovery Girl. There's actually Nezu, Aizawa, who tested it earlier, is there just in case Deku goes berserk, and All Might isn't there. So, you know, as they believe All Might wouldn't be necessary, All Might thought he should probably be there just in case, though. So he's in there in Toshinori form, not All Might form. As when Deku, well, the body of Deku walks in there, Delta's first to represent, but then he stops as he's looking dead at All Might. As then Delta quickly flashes black, then purple, red, black, and it keeps on going between all these. As they all get a quick flash of when All Might told them they couldn't be heroes. Delta's trying to rein them all in, but not Omega, but Gamma is actually the one to go out with All Might in a very robotic voice. As Delta's like, what's he doing out there? As Delta's about to drag Gamma back in, but Omega's like, no, must talk to him. Speak to him! As they're all like trying to clamor out, except for Theta. Theta's trying to help Delta keep him under control. So, as he's speaking with All Might, as everyone's like quiet, Aizawa's readying the thing. Do you remember what you said to us, All Might? To us, to me. And it's like, yes. What do you think now? If we think we are doing trigger, no, we are not. I don't know why I had Gamma. Deceit, I guess, is like Gamma was the one wanting to talk to him, since he is, like I said, the deceit that Deku told himself that he could be a hero. So he's questioning All Might, seeing if that he can't get rid of the thing, because Gamma still has that like lingering doubt that they can't. As then his question is answered, it's like, alright. As then Delta's finally able to reemerge and says, why is it that you called us here? Called us? Me. Sorry. So Recovery Girl says, well, Nezu should explain this. We've looked at your reports and your quirks used to be a lot less powerful than they are now. And do you know of any drugs, a drug known as Trigger? It's like, yes. Trigger is an important drug for some of those very weak villains who need a quirk boost. It's like, alright. Now from looking at this, your skills have improved much, much better in that entire year than they had in a previous year. What we are asking you is, are you doing Trigger? As Delta says, no. Trigger effects causes mild insanity. Well, mild case of violent outburst. Internal bleeding, malformed limbs, and a plethora of other things that would go wrong if we took it. It's like, alright. Would you mind us getting a sample of your blood, just to make sure it's clear of any toxins, quote unquote. As then he pretty much walks up to Recovery Girl, sliding up his shirt saying, do it. As then Omega can't be controlled anymore, as he goes flying at All Might and says, fuck you! As then it's immediately dragged back inside of Deku's head. As he's like, forgive me. I am still angry. Let us continue. I thought you said it depends on emotion you're feeling right then and there. Yes. So, what happens? As he's getting his blood drawn, he explains what All Might told him, and then that's about it. It's like, what happened after that? Nothing. I went to school the very next day and got on with my life. It's like, so, do you think this emotional stuff caused you any sort of... Because from what Aizawa has told me, a lot of this has to do with mental, your brain, your psyche. So, do you think you got this boost of energy to prove All Might wrong? Of your quirks enhancing? No. I don't know. All I know is I woke up one day and they were much more powerful, you could say. As it's like, alright. So what about as the machine finishes scanning and looking at his blood, it's like he has no traces of any sort of drug in his system. He's clean. He's in perfect health, even. Probably one of the healthiest people in here. He's like, what about Nezu? Nezu's an animal, not a person. It's like, I don't get enough sleep, you're old, and well, as I'm guessing you can probably, since you know who All Might is in that form, you already know about his injury? Yes. That is all. I would like to leave. As it's like, All Might's like, wait, as then Omega comes back out, you lost the right to tell me anything. Leave me alone. I wish to have nothing to do with you. So, that beat it. I'm going to beat it now. Don't even talk directly to me. I care not if you're the symbol of peace. As in, then the AIs stay in Deku. Not AIs. Shit. As the F5s retreat back to Deku's head, and they all stay there while they leave school. The few days, it's either like a few days to 2 days. It's either a few days or a day that it takes for them to do the whole hero test, like I forgot what it's called, heroes versus villains, there we go. As in, it's like, let's see who our lucky heroes are today, and villains, as the suits are all seen, as it takes more time for, Carolina and Deku to get their stuff on, since it has more parts to it. As they finish getting ready and grabbing their brute shot and their grappling hook, flashbangs, and whatever, Deku, I think I've already explained the non-lethal option he has, but I'll explain it again. It's his non-lethal brute shot rounds are explode into like a nice pink substance that freezes over people's bodies, and it hurts. Like, imagine like a burning feeling or a freezing cold feeling, but it doesn't actually freeze you or burns you. It just feels like that. And that's what he uses for his brute shot. As it impacts, it explodes out, covering the area that was in it, and whoever was near it gets covered in it. That being said, as Carolina and Deku step out where everyone else is, everyone's looking at the two of them as they walk to the front. As everyone's trying to ask questions, well, Deku stays in the back, trying to be as far away from All Might as possible. But Carolina wants to get up front to hear the best. She's like, "You coming, Midoriya?" So, as Delta says, "No, I can hear from back here fine." As with Deku being taller than pretty much everyone there, I'll say he's around, I think Endeavor's like 6'4", so I'll have Deku be 6'2". So I think that's a good, well, hang on. 6'2", yeah, that's 6'6" is how tall he'll be. He'll be 6'6", so 2 inches taller than Endeavor, if I remember correctly. As he's standing there in the background, pretty much towering over everybody else, it's like, so, as All Might pulls the raffles out, Izuku Midoriya and Ochako Uraraka versus Bakugo Katsuki and Carolina. As it's like, as Carolina and Carolina looks back at Deku, as Deku grabs as when they're like separated like the two teams, well, I guess everyone would be separated, as he looks over to Bakugo and Carolina, who are close together, as both of them looked back at him, he grabbed his knuckles and just cracked his neck. Just as then Omega, not Omega, but I guess, well, yeah, I guess Omega comes out and says, "You have no idea what kind of trouble you are in." As a few of the people says, "I don't like Deku when he's like this," or "I don't like Izuku when he's like this." With that being said, Rocket begins to immediately try to start talking with Deku, and then Delta comes out and saying, "I have already described a perfect plan to allow us to take out Agent Carolina." Well, not Agent, but Carolina and Bakugo Katsuki. So she's like, "Alright, how do we do that?" "Well, I could either take us and jump up, or we could go through the bottom floor and make our way up from there. Your choice." She's like, "Let's go from the bottom." It's like, "Very well. From there, we'll proceed. Knowing Bakugo Katsuki, he may try to come at me. But if the two of them think alike, they may try to take me out first. So in that case, as he picks up Uraraka by the back, like by picking her up, it's like, "You shall go up top." As then, she's like, wait, use your quirk." As he gently tosses her up with her using her quirk, and she's able to get on top of the roof. She's like, "I'm okay." He's like, "Good." As then everyone sees him as he pulls the brute shot off his back. He's like, "Now," in a very menacing voice, "let's go see what they're made of." That being said, Carolina and Bakugo are like, she says that we need to work together to beat that guy. There's no way the two of us alone can beat him. He's like, "I can defeat Deku anytime. He took out dozens of robots by himself with pure strength alone." Well, actually, scratch that. He used his brute shot. That wasn't even him using his actual strength. He's like, "So what? If he wants to use explosions against me, fine. But mine are better." She's like, "Yes, but he has energy shield, super strength, super speed, and cloaking. There's no way we're gonna beat him by ourselves." As Ochaka's sneaking up there, as Bakugo and Carolina are still arguing. She's like, "Why are you being so hard-headed about this? It's clear that we need to work together. Deku's mine and mine alone. Now get your own nemesis." As when Deku beat down Bakugo didn't know who it was, but after hearing he got first place, seeing him destroy those tests and everything, he's still having that thing about, was he holding back on me all those years? And not to try and play on this card a bit too much, he starts thinking, was he even stronger than Allison? Because if that was, he just had her protecting him the entire time. No, I'm gonna find out why he got so much stronger, even if I have to beat out of him. As Bakugo has turned his back, as they're outside the thing, Deku has snuck up on him. And as Bakugo's like, "I'll beat that shitty nerd with my bare hands." As then Deku appears right behind him, Carolina's like, "Bakugo, watch out!" As it's like, "What?" As Deku grabs him by the face and not slams him, but throws him right into Carolina, tossing him. Then brings out the brute shot and fires the pink foam. As they're like, "Oh, this hurts so bad. This hurts so bad. What is this?" As he "Can't blast my way out of here." As she's like, "I don't know. He didn't use this during the training thing." As then Delta comes out saying, "As I suspected, Bakugo Katsuki is too hard-headed to work with anyone else, especially against somebody who he hates as much as me. Well, especially working with someone who'd get in his way at fighting me solo. I win." As then he walks over and touches the bomb. Heroes win! As Chaco's like, wait, I didn't get to do anything? As Delta speaks into the thing, it appears that I was mistaken. I suspected it, but I was thinking that Carolina and Bakugo may actually team up, so I wanted you to be safer. Because, forgive me for saying this, Chaco Uraraka, but you aren't very combat-oriented. She's like, no, I understand, so, hey, can you, come get me down from the roof? There actually isn't an entrance up here. You solved that really quickly. He's like, oh. As then he walks outside after pretty much breaking the two of them out of, that little pile. Walking out of the building as Caroline is like, you should listen to some people every now and then. Oh, shut up. As then with that done and over with, he jumps up on the thing. Everyone's seeing that he's jumped up really high. Picks up Ochako. Well, actually, Ochako probably just floated down there by herself, so never mind about that. As it's hero team wins, villains are the losers. As then with all that taken care of, Bakugo still has that whole thing as when Deku goes to warn Bakugo not to give up. As he says, I expected more from you. As it's what did you say? I expected something more out of the great Bakugo Katsuki, and now you're just running away? As he says, you're a coward, even more so than I was. As it's say that again, shitty nerd. See what you got. As Deku's fine, come at me. As then, when Bakugo is about to rush him, Aizawa's hey, no fighting on the school grounds when this is over. As it's Bakugo's and walks away. Aizawa says, I reviewed your footage. You were smart. Those two were probably the worst matchup with Bakugo's hard-headedness and Carolina's own hard-headedness. It made the perfect match for you to be able to take him out easily. It's if it was any other circumstance, so I'd say you'd actually have a bit of trouble. Deku saying he agrees. Despite it, Bakugo is probably one of the best fighters in the class at the moment when it comes to technique. Knows his quirk well. Like me and Carolina. We know how to use our quirks. Because we trained it beforehand. It's see you on tomorrow, Izuku. It's see you tomorrow, Eraser. Goodbye. As that's where I'm going to be ending off this a nice little episode. I hope you all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all continue to enjoy this. And I hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.